Have you ever heard about the lost treasure of the Atocha? More than 400 years ago, one of the richest ships in history disappeared beneath the ocean, carrying a fortune in gold, silver, and emeralds worth billions today. Hundreds of sailors died. Divers searched for centuries and found nothing. And when the treasure was finally discovered, it had already cost lives. This is the story of the Atocha, a shipwreck, a tragedy, and one of the greatest treasure hunts ever recorded. In the summer of 1622, the Spanish Empire controlled vast territories across the Americas. Every year, fleets of heavily guarded treasure ships crossed the Atlantic, carrying unimaginable wealth from the New World to Spain. These fleets were known as the Spanish treasure fleets, and they were among the most valuable convoys in the world. One of these fleets left Havana in September of 1622. It consisted of nearly 30 ships, including merchant vessels, escort ships, and powerful armed galleons designed to protect the treasure. Among them was one of the most heavily loaded ships in the entire fleet, the Nuestra Señora de Atocha. The Atocha was not just another ship. It was the rear guard of the fleet responsible for protecting the slower merchant ships behind it. But it was also carrying an extraordinary cargo. On board were tons of silver from the mines of Peru and Bolivia, gold artifacts, emeralds from Colombia, fine jewelry, and private fortunes belonging to nobles, merchants, and clergy. The wealth on the Atocha represented years of extraction from the New World and was destined for the royal treasury in Spain. Just days after leaving Havana, the fleet sailed directly into a massive hurricane near the Florida Keys. The storm struck with overwhelming force. Ships were scattered, smashed against reefs, and driven beneath the waves. 8 ships were lost in the disaster, and hundreds of sailors drowned. The Atocha was among those lost. Witnesses from surviving ships later reported seeing the galleon driven onto a reef and broken apart by the waves. Almost everyone aboard perished. Only a few survivors managed to cling to debris and were later rescued. The treasure sank with the ship, settling into the sands of the ocean floor, where it would remain hidden for more than 3 centuries. Spain immediately attempted to recover the treasure. Divers were sent using early diving bells and primitive equipment. Some silver was recovered from nearby wrecks, but the Atocha itself proved impossible to locate. Over time, its exact position was forgotten, and it became one of the most famous lost treasures in history. More than 300 years later, a man named Mel Fisher became obsessed with finding it. Mel Fisher was not originally a treasure hunter. He had been a chicken farmer and later ran a diving business. But he became fascinated with shipwrecks and historical treasure fleets. In 1969, he began searching for the Atocha in the waters of the Florida Keys. Many people believed he was chasing a fantasy. Year after year, Fisher and his team searched the ocean floor. They worked in extreme heat, dangerous currents, and storms. The work was slow and frustrating. Often weeks would pass without finding anything significant. But the search came with a terrible cost. In 1975, tragedy struck. A support boat named the Northwind suddenly capsized during operations. On board were Fisher's son Dirk, his daughter-in-law Angel, and a diver named Rick Gage. All 3 were lost at sea. The accident devastated the entire team. For many people, this would have been the end of the search. Mel Fisher was heartbroken, but he continued. He believed finishing the search would honor those who had died. At the same time, another battle was unfolding, this one in courtrooms rather than on the ocean. The state of Florida claimed that any treasure found belonged to the state. Fisher argued that he had invested years of work, money, and risk, and that under maritime law, the treasure should belong to the finders. The legal battle lasted for years and became one of the most important treasure law cases in history. The dispute eventually reached the United States Supreme Court. In 1982, the court ruled in favor of Mel Fisher, establishing a major legal precedent. Treasure recovered from international waters could belong to the discoverers rather than the state. This decision changed treasure hunting forever. Then, in 1985, after 16 years of searching, Fisher's team made the discovery that would make history. Divers located the main wreck site of the Atocha. What they found was beyond anything they'd imagined. The seafloor was scattered with silver bars, gold coins, jewelry, and emeralds. Chests lay buried in the sand, still holding treasures untouched since the 17th century. In total, the recovered treasure was estimated at more than $400 million in 1980s value, and far more in today's terms. Among the finds were thousands of silver coins, massive silver ingots stamped with markings from Spanish colonial mines, intricate gold chains crafted for nobility, religious artifacts, and some of the finest emeralds ever recovered from a shipwreck. One day, divers were showered with emeralds cascading down from the wreck. Some were so large and clear that they instantly became famous. Each object tells a story about trade, empire, and life in the 1600s. Even today, artifacts from the Atocha continue to be studied by historians and displayed in museums. But perhaps the most fascinating part of the story is that not all of the treasure has been found. Ocean currents constantly shift sand along the seabed. Storms uncover and rebury objects. Experts believe that parts of the cargo may still lie hidden, scattered across a wide area. From time to time, divers still discover coins and small artifacts in the region. The legend of the Atocha is not just a story about gold and silver. It is a story about perseverance, tragedy, and the relentless human desire to uncover the past. Mel Fisher continued searching for shipwrecks until his death in 1998. By then, he had become one of the most famous treasure hunters in the world. And somewhere beneath the shifting sands of the ocean, pieces of the Atocha may still be waiting to be discovered. Because sometimes, history does not disappear. It simply waits. The treasure of the Atocha changed the world of underwater exploration, treasure hunting, and maritime law. It proved that persistence can uncover history long thought lost forever. And yet, the ocean still keeps many of its secrets. Somewhere beneath the shifting sands of the Florida Keys, pieces of the past may still remain. Silent, untouched, waiting. If you enjoy stories about lost treasure, mysteries of history, and real discoveries that sound like legends, make sure to subscribe to this channel. New videos are coming about hidden history, unexplained events, and the greatest mysteries ever recorded. If you found this story interesting, leave a like and tell us in the comments. Would you risk everything to search for lost treasure? Thank you for watching, and see you in the next story.